Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Spirituality for Badass Babes. Today, I have this beautiful badass with me, Nicole Gerdeman, who is a nutrition and mindset coach. And I'm super excited to have her here. So, welcome, Nicole. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Ania. It's so good to be here.
Fantastic. So, I have to ask because I always love asking this question: what makes you a spiritual badass?
Well, I feel like in general, just my kind of thirst for knowledge and thirst for empowerment makes me a spiritual badass. Trying to find my true self, find my purpose, and doing that through spirit and trying to really lean on that higher power has really changed my life. And what I noticed is as I've gone through life, I've really relied on myself to accomplish my goals. And like I've had a whole lot of like weight put on myself to accomplish things. But when I learned about kind of the metaphysical and that higher power, that higher spirit, the divine spirit, and how you can connect with that energy and really gain power and strength from it, it has transformed my life. So instead of like putting all the pressure on myself, I've learned to trust and to be okay with not knowing, like being within the unknown and just trusting and really feeling the vibrations, right, of love and happiness and just trust. I think trust is the biggest thing. But as I put myself in the hands of God or the universe, I have been held, and it's crazy. So I've just learned more and more, and I've just opened myself to experience, and it's helped me. It's helped me to where I don't have so much pressure on myself, and I can lean into that higher power and kind of get my strength from that. So
Yeah, it's definitely important to rely on that higher power, whatever that higher power is for you, God, the universe, just to rely on that so we can move that next step of our lives. So, how did you get started in both spirituality and mixing it into your business?
yeah, so I got started with spirituality when I pursued yoga teacher training. I was wanting to find a career that would help me stay physically active. I'm really passionate about health and fitness and keeping a healthy weight and weight management. So I wanted to find a career that would help me stay active and healthy. So I was like, well, and I did a yoga class one day and it was so fun. And so the teacher was really nice. And I was like, how do you become a yoga teacher? She's like, oh, just get certified. And so I found this beautiful yoga teacher training. Now it's called Denver Underground. But it was transformational for me. And when I got my yoga teacher training through them, I got into it for the physical part, like to learn the asanas, the poses, but then I learned about meditation and connecting with the divine spirit and that, God is within you. And just I learned about deities and stuff like that. So that's why I really found my spirituality. Growing up, we didn't really go to church or have much religion or anything or spirituality in my home. But my mom always taught me that God was in my heart and that I could pray anywhere and I didn't have to be in a church to pray. So just to I can pray and God is always in my heart. But the yoga really opened me up to this like kind of Eastern way of spirituality, but it helped open me up spiritually. So it was a blessing, and it wasn't something I had expected or was like trying to do, but it opened up this whole new world for me where I started to really lean on this divine higher spirit, this higher power, and work with it and kind of learn how to communicate with that power.
That's beautiful. Like it's sometimes it's the unexpected things in life that lead us to the best expecting things in life. Like sometimes we go on these paths thinking like, oh, life should go this way. We should do this. We should do X, Y, and Z, accomplish X, Y, and Z before we're the age of whatever. But that's not how life works always. That's not how we are meant to live. Like we should be living in the unexpected. And from that unexpected, that's where magic happens. That's when like reality clicks in and you're like, oh, this is so much better than I ever imagined. And that's exactly what happened to you. So it's so beautiful. How did you start incorporating all of that into your nutrition and mindset business? Because that's meditation, nutrition, like yes, they're similar. And obviously healthy mind and healthy body, like deeper your connection, especially if you're following like an Ayurvedic diet, for example, which I'm not sure if you do at all, but it's just something that is more nutritionist and more on like the plant-based, the like the natural remedies. Like, how are you starting to incorporate that into your current business and current life?
Yeah, so my passion really is just to help people figure out the best way to live a healthy life and through food primarily. I struggled with that a lot. Growing up, just my family didn't eat the best and come from a Hispanic background. So there's just, we don't eat a lot of veggies, and we have this, our culture is very rooted in just kind of like meat and potatoes and tortillas, and it's all delicious and but it's highly processed, things like that, and just not heart healthy, and stuff like that. So really my goal was, because I watched my mom and my grandma struggle with obesity, and I also started learning about just the vibrational energy that food gives you, and just the that whole foods, the foods that are from the earth, produce good energy for you. And it's actually better to be eating less processed foods, obviously. Even just trying to lose weight, like if the more processed foods you are eating, that's not going to help you, but it does so much to our body that we don't even understand, that we don't realize. Eating these processed foods that are not from the earth, that are not pure, that are not whole, because that's what our body needs to fuel ourselves. So as I was going through my journey of figuring out my career and what I want to do, I thought, I always struggled with nutrition, and I watched a lot of my friends and family struggle with nutrition. So I started to just notice on my own journey how food made me feel, how it really changes your mood, it changes your energy. And so through my business, I said, that's the impact I need to make, is helping people find an easy way to transition into eating healthier. Everyone gets really confused of what they should eat, and they find it very challenging to start eating vegetables. I know that I did. So in my business, I mean, there's a lot to be said about your food and your spirituality, because yes, there is Ayurveda and things of that nature that people practice along with their spirituality. I did practice a little bit of Ayurveda when I first started doing yoga. So now I don't do as much of that, but I gained a lot of knowledge learning about Ayurveda, and just how all of their ingredients are just whole ingredients, whole herbs, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, and not a lot of meat and stuff like that. So it really changed my perspective. And so you can still have meat and processed foods here and there, but I learned that people just need a hand. They're so busy, they don't really understand where to start. So I said, that's my calling. I'm going to help people with nutrition. I'm going to coach them and inspire them. I know that I kind of have the ability to motivate people and keep people pumped up. So I was like, I can motivate them and encourage them and also give them a plan. So it's just really, in my journey, it's helped me with my weight loss, keeping my weight, and then just being with your spirit. You're nourishing you're nourishing your body, but it's also nourishing the spirit and the mind with the food that you eat, and being very mindful and strategic with your food. And so that kind of all wraps together, and that's what I try to teach my clients. And essentially that's my goal, is just so that they can navigate that kind of confusing, area and feel confident and feel empowered to make the right decisions about their health.
That's beautiful, especially the whole like feeling confident and feeling empowered, because that's like the confidence all starts from within you. It all starts with you feeling good about yourself. And the better you eat, the better you feel good about yourself. Do you have a certain process that you take your clients to from A to Z, or how do you work with? Because obviously everyone's nutrition is going to be very, very different depending on their body size, depending on their height, depending on if it's a woman or a female or a male, like their age. So do you have a certain process you take people through and how they can start adding more of this into their lives? Or are some of your clients also like already advanced and they just want to get better?
Yeah, so I've noticed that everyone's on a different spectrum. There's a lot of people kind of already know what they need to eat, but they need the motivation and they need a plan. So I do have a process with my clients where I try not to restrict them, because the whole idea is that they are creating a lifestyle change, not like a short-term gain to where they're going to lose a few pounds and then gain it all back. We want a long-term change. We want a lifestyle change, because eating right and creating healthy habits, it's a lifestyle. And so I try to instill in my clients that this is not a fast, weight loss type of situation where it's like a magic pill and then you'll lose weight. Really, the key is to create healthy habits. So yeah, it's a lifestyle change. And so what I do is I take my clients through what are their habits. I make sure that we've created healthy habits for them. I come up with a plan. I look at their body composition, their weight, their height, their age, and everybody needs a customized plan. You can't give a one size fits all solution to your clients, because everybody's different. Every body is different. And so you definitely, what I focus on is making sure that their plan is specifically tailored to their goals, to what they like to eat. I don't want them to feel restricted. If they feel restricted in what they're eating, like they can't eat certain things, then it's counterintuitive, where they're kind of craving the things they can't have. So I try to let them know, hey, we're just going to replace certain foods. We're going to try different foods. I'm going to provide you some recipes and some meal inspiration so that you can know and plan out your meals and know what you're going to eat. And so I take them through that process, build out their routine, make sure that they are educated about the different types of macronutrients, like their proteins, fats, and carbs. Some people need mindset work too. So some people I will take a little bit further in and do some journaling, some self-inquiry questions with them, and get behind why they feel the way they do about food. And so we kind of take it a little step further. So everybody's different. I'm noticing, like, I have this whole plethora of things I want to give to my clients, but some of them only need a couple, like just a meal plan or motivation. So I have to tailor it to each individual.
That's beautiful. And I love that you do that as well. Because, yeah, like you were saying, everyone is different. And you're also educating them not only on their macros, how their body should work, how their body absorbs certain foods, how their body's working through certain things, but also the mindset as well. Because your mindset is so important. Like you can literally manifest the weight loss for yourself if you really wanted to, but it all starts with that mindset. The mindset is so powerful. And how did you get started on the mindset side of things as well?
That's a great question. So what I really noticed about my own journey was that although I had goals and I had a focus of, hey, I'm going to lose weight, I had such self-deprecating negative self-talk. Like my self-talk was horrible. I was so unkind to myself. I wanted to lose weight because I didn't like my body. And I would also doubt my abilities quite often. And I thought I was a confident person, but the inner self-talk in my mind was just so negative. It was telling me that I didn't look good enough, that I wasn't doing enough, that I was just not enough. Like I was less than, and I
Yeah.
needed to do better. And I just realized that this is not helping my progress. And because I didn't have the right mindset, I had this mindset of like, I don't like myself. Because I had that mindset, it was always defeating me. I was like trying to get ahead, and I would just fall like 5 steps back because my head wasn't in the right place. So when I started to shift from this place of like self-hate to self-love and saying, I love my body needs nourishment, I'm doing this to take care of myself, I deserve a healthy body, I deserve nourishment, I deserve to love myself, right? Like feeling deserving of that. That shifted it. I started to lose weight for a different reason. And then I also started to realize I need to shift my thinking. As long as my thoughts are negative and saying you're not good enough, or you're bad for eating that, or you're not doing what you should be doing. And as long as I had that negative self-talk, it was going to hold me back. So I started noticing, and that was part of my yoga practice as well, is like noticing the thoughts and then shifting them. So when I would hear that, you're too fat or you're ugly or whatever in my head, I'd be like, stop, like you're beautiful. Everyone sees you as beautiful. You need to validate yourself. You need to be validated in you. You don't need anyone's approval, just your own approval of yourself. So when I started shifting my thought patterns, I started seeing results and I started losing weight, and it would stay off. So I realized that that's one key, is you have to have your mind in the right place in order to get results and actually maintain the results.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And so how did you start noticing those? Because we all we're our own worst enemies. Like, we're our own worst critics. We say bad things to ourselves all the time, but it's really important to like start noticing them. And it's not until you start noticing them that you can fix them. But noticing that little voice in your head, like, that takes real power from someone. That takes a lot of work to actually say, like, hey, is this me, or is this my ego self telling me like I'm too fat, I'm too big, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not smart enough, whatever the self-limiting beliefs may be. So how did you start noticing those? How did you start seeing that, like, crap, like I actually need to change this? I'm actually like self-sabotaging myself at this point by saying all these negative things to myself.
Yeah, there was a couple of things. I mean, first of all, like in meditation, you start to notice your thoughts. So that was like my early days of self-awareness, was meditation and just noticing your thoughts and letting them pass. Then to take it a step further, you also notice your breath, right? So you notice your breathing. So as you begin to do breath work and you're really noticing your thoughts, then that it's just that awareness. It's the self-awareness, which so many people just go through their day without really being aware of what they're thinking or why. But there was a couple things. There were a couple of seminars I took on self-inquiry, like just questions that you ask yourself. There were mentors of mine that taught me to be aware. They said, and there was a couple of them, my yoga teacher, there's a couple people that said, hey, just take a moment and journal. So journaling was a huge thing for me. Just what did I feel and why? And just started writing things down and just like, oh my God, like I am so negative. So having the awareness is the first step. And that's being present, right? So being present with your thoughts and being okay with the thoughts. Because sometimes you don't want to hear that, it's really bad, but you have to be honest with yourself and you have to be okay with the thoughts. So noticing the thoughts, and then from there, you start to replace it, which is a process. But when you replace the thoughts, so you can write them down. I found like writing. So this is one way I think of something. Here's the positive way to think about it. Here's another statement that I can use in place of that statement. Positive affirmations, instead of saying I'm not worthy, switching it to I am enough. I am more than enough. I am worthy. So affirmations really helped me. But I think it was really the practice of being present, noticing the thoughts, and then having the ability to say, oh, that's a negative thought, and then shifting it. And it takes practice, takes time, but after a few years, you start to like catch it. And, you know, some people are like, nope, not today, like, nope. And you kind of stop it in your tracks. And it doesn't always, it's not like it ever goes away. There's still those times where those thoughts come into my head, where it's like something like, oh, you're not doing good enough, or nope, that doesn't look right on you, or you're, you know, you're gaining, or your belly looks weird, or whatever. Like, and then I just say, yep, I hear that, but that's not what I'm going to use today. I'm going to use thoughts of empowerment and thoughts that are going to push me forward. So if that makes sense, kind of that process.
That's beautiful. Of course, like, yes, I see you, I hear you, but I'm not going to acknowledge you today, or I do acknowledge you today, but it's not going to ruin my life. Like, we're going to move past this, we're going to get through it, and it's not going to be something that I'm constantly going to be going towards. Like, it's so important to have that self-reflection and to do the journaling, to do the meditations, to do the tappings, to do whatever it is,
Yes.
in order for your mind to like reprogram itself. Because like, we're so conditioned to constantly be saying negative things about ourselves, judging other people, constantly looking at other people. Oh, like, why did she do that? Why did he do something like this? Well, it all starts with you, and it's up to you to do that inner work, to do the mindset, to do the meditations, to do all of that up leveling, so that you can live your best life, so you can feel your bestest, so you can keep striving to be the very best version of yourself. So that's super beautiful that you do that, and I hope everyone takes away a little bit of golden nuggets from that as well. So do you have any last minute tips, tricks on either nutrition, mindset, or how people can elevate their lives?
So first of all, I'll give like 3 tips. So have a self-inquiry practice. So I mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned tapping. Tapping has been great for me too. I found that, and that was like a lot of inner work, where basically you're identifying just triggers, like identify triggers within you, things that bother you, so that you can kind of get down to the root of why things bug you. When you start to unravel the layers of why things upset you, you start to kind of understand that a lot of the pain that you have is from childhood, and we hold on to it, and we use it as our identity. And so if we can do inner work, which there's so many resources, but there's so many different programs out there that have self-inquiry, where it's like questions that you answer about your childhood, about like what makes you tick, like why do you like to eat certain foods, you know, when you were little, how did your parents treat you, like did you feel worthy when you were a child? There's so many programs out there that you could look into that are like, just, you're basically your own psychiatrist. You're basically digging into your own thought patterns, your own emotions, and trying to figure out what's going on. So, and some people, you know, have therapists and stuff. I haven't done that before, but I've heard that it's very useful. So whatever that looks like for your listeners, like, do self-inquiry. There's so much inner work that needs to be done. We always want to change things externally, but we have to start inward first. So any kind of self-inquiry, sitting in meditation, sitting and being silent, journaling is huge, and it's helped me, and it's shifted my healthy living. I wanted to be healthy externally, and I figured out like that work needs to be done inside. So I would say look into any of that, whether it's books or journaling or whatever. I would say with your nutrition, just try to focus on eating whole foods as much as you can. Balancing, it's okay to have those things that you like that are not as healthy, like burgers or whatever you like to have, or ice cream or cookies, but know that 80% of your food should be food that's nourishing your body and is going to give you the minerals and vitamins that you need. And then the other 20% can be what you like to eat, always in moderation. And that way you're balancing out, you're not restricting anything, but you're becoming more mindful of what's going into your body. So just like we need to be mindful of what we listen to, what we read, the movies we watch. Is the same thing with our food, because we can heal our bodies with food, and we just need to be aware that it's very important to eat the right types of foods to give yourself the longevity, to give yourself a healthy life, to help yourself have more energy, to help yourself sleep better at night. The food is so important. And I've learned that just through my own journey. When I wasn't paying attention to what I ate, I was not hitting my goals. I was tired. I was, low energy, bad mood. So your food is so important. So keep that in mind. And if anyone needs resources, I'm here. But yeah, look at your food, look at the labels, pay attention to what you're eating. It's so important. And then lastly, I would say just be hydrated, hydrate your body, drink water. So many people forget to drink water and they just kind of put it by the wayside, or they have a lot of energy drinks and coffee and they just forget to drink the water of life. So I would say hydrate your body, drink water, don't forget, have a water bottle, drink at least 3 to 4 water bottles a day. Some people drink a gallon a day, but that would be just another helpful tip that's very accessible, is just drink water. Your body will thank you for it, your digestive system. And there's just so many benefits. Our bodies are made up of mostly water, so we need that. So I would say, don't forget to drink water. It's really good. So
Beautiful, Nicole. Thank you so much for that. And where can people find you?
So my website is NicoleGerdeman.com. And so you can reach me there. I'm also on Facebook under Nicole Gerdeman. My Instagram is also under Nicole Gerdeman. I think it's N Gerdeman Coaching, but I'm on Instagram as well. So if anyone would like to do a free coaching session, I give free coachings to anyone who needs a little bit of help with their nutrition, just to talk about your goals, see where your nutrition needs to be dialed in. So we can always schedule a 30-minute coaching on my website.
Thank you so much, Nicole. This was so beautiful. And I think everyone's going to walk away with so many beautiful things and start drinking more water, eating more raw foods, and just being the better, healthier version of themselves. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you, Ania. I appreciate it.
For more tips and tricks on business and spirituality, join us inside the Spirituality for Badass Babes Facebook group.